Well, we begin with continuing coverage in the Union County, South Dakota murder trial. Signs of possible domestic violence were shown in court today between the victim and the defendant. A criminal investigator testified to text messages and video found on victim Jordan Beardshear's cell phone following her death. A 22-second video found on Beardshear's cell phone was played during court this morning. Now, the video showed Beardshear's legs, and you could hear the voice of who investigators say was Alfredo Castellanos-Rosales allegedly yelling at Beardshear. The investigator said it was demeaning and assaulting language. A series of text messages were also shown, believed to be between the two. Investigators say just a week prior to her death in April 2023. That investigator from South Dakota's Division of Criminal Investigation told the jury the language used in those messages gave a glimpse into their relationship.
Please describe the language the defendant used in those text messages.
It's threatening text messages. The statements indicate that something bad is going to happen to Jordan.
What is the significance of threats or threatening messages in a homicide investigation?
Oftentimes, perpetrators of violent crime or homicide threaten the victims prior to the event.
Several family members and friends of Beardshear testified this week, saying they heard Castellanos-Rosales threaten Beardshear prior to her death. Now, Alfredo Castellanos-Rosales is facing a first-degree murder charge. He is accused of stabbing Beardshear to death in her Dakota Dunes apartment. He was arrested days after her death in Mexico. And as court proceedings have played out this week, Tuesday investigators testified about clothing they found, saying there was a reddish-brown substance found in Castellanos-Rosales' home. Now, today, we're learning what that substance was. KTV's Katie Koppel is in the courtroom. She joins us live in studio tonight with a little more on what DNA evidence was found and testified to today. Katie?
Yeah, Jessica, investigators executed a search warrant at Castellanos-Rosales' Sioux City home hours after finding Beardshear dead inside her Dakota Dunes apartment. That happened on April 26, 2023. Now, they collected several clothing items in the laundry area of the basement of that home. They collected men's blue jeans, a men's blue polo shirt, a toddler shirt, and toddler pants. Investigators also swabbed spots on the concrete that had that reddish-brown substance to send in for DNA testing. In court this morning, a forensic expert with the state forensic lab testified to those results from the DNA testing. On the blue jeans, she found that reddish-brown substance to not be human blood and could not get a DNA sample from that. The polo shirt did not have a reddish-brown substance or DNA on it, and the swabs from the floor tested negative for blood. But when she tested the toddler shirt and pants, that reddish-brown substance turned out to be blood.
The DNA profile obtained from the bottom back of the long sleeve toddler shirt, that stained area, matched the DNA profile from Jordan Beardshear. I examined the toddler pants for the presence of blood. A stain specifically located on the back right upper leg of the toddler pants came back positive for the presence of blood. I obtained a profile that was consistent with being a mixture from two individuals. I determined there was a major contributor that came back to matching the DNA profile from Jordan Beardshear. And then I could not make comparisons to that minor component.
Now, investigators tested several items taken from Beardshear's apartment and also scrapings under her fingernails and swabs of her hands. Castellanos-Rosales' DNA was not confirmed to be on any of the items tested. Now, several items tested did have other DNA profiles on them, but forensic experts testified that there was not enough of a DNA profile to say whether or not that DNA matched Castellanos-Rosales. Now, Jessica, the state has already called over 20 witnesses in the last 3 days, and there is still a lot to learn. Court will be in recess tomorrow because of the Juneteenth holiday, so the state will resume its case Friday morning at 9.
All right, thanks, Katie. And of course, KTIV will continue to stream live audio from the trial Friday morning as those proceedings begin. You can listen live on KTIV.com. Well, now we turn